So most people who have had a business for any extended amount of time have heard about the ability to pay your kids on payroll so you can get a tax credit or get the tax benefit of paying your child but not having to pay taxes on that. So in today's video, I am going to touch on who should be doing this, what you should not be doing, and what you should be doing if this is a tax strategy that you want to take advantage of. If you're new here, my name is Katrina. My business partner Cheryl and I run and own Empower to Profit, where we work with small business owners to teach them how to take more money out of their business and put it into their personal pocket. So let's jump in. Let's learn about how we can take advantage of this tax strategy to pay our children on payroll. So one of the first things I want to acknowledge before we jump into this is that this is not a tactic that you use as a business owner to think you're going to pull one over on the government, save some money, swindle yourself out of paying taxes. That is not the intention of this. The intention is to understand how tax law works and to use it to your advantage. And as a business owner, this is something that you can do to implement for your family and for your business. So you want to do this with confidence. You don't want to do this out of ignorance or out of having questions and just hearing about something and trying to implement it yourself. You want to make sure that you're doing it the right way, that you're doing your due diligence, and that you're following all of the steps, because if you don't do it the correct way, it can actually cost you money and you could actually get audited by the government, which could begin to unravel a whole bunch of things that could have been avoided by just doing it the right way from the beginning. So there's a lot of advantages to doing this, but it's important to keep in mind you are going to have to take the right steps to make sure you're doing it correctly, legally, and to take the tax advantage of it by not taking advantage of the IRS and putting yourself at an audit risk. So now you're thinking, super, I'm on board. Teach me all the things. How do I do this the right way so I can pay my kid, get a tax write-off in the business, and check all the boxes? So glad you asked. The first thing that we usually see is that most people taking advantage of this is you have kids between the ages of like 7 years old to 22 years old, somewhere in that realm. Yes, you can use your younger kids. Usually it's for like photos, something like that. But until they really reach the age of 7, there's not much that they could actually logically do in your business. So keep that in mind. Now, the tax deduction amount that you can pay your child for 2023 taxes is $13,850, and their taxable income would be zero because that is the standard deduction amount. And it's important to keep in mind, if you do this tax strategy, your child will have to file their own tax return because you are paying them as an employee of your business. So your business taxes, the tax deduction will decrease your taxable income as a business. So this is for sole proprietors, LLC, where you're the only owner, or a partnership where both of the partners are the child's parents. So those are the important things to keep in mind where you're starting this journey of creating this process in your business. A couple more detailed things that you want to keep in mind is that if you are having your child paid in your business, they actually have to be an asset to your business. So they actually have to be doing something that is helping your business. Sometimes people want to take advantage of this tax credit, but they don't actually have their kids do anything. Therefore, they haven't set it up correctly, and they don't have any paperwork on the back end showing that what their child did was legitimate with a paper trail and pay them their own money. So there is an industry called the Fair Labor Standard Act, and their full job is to monitor kids who are being employed. So there are people that are going to be looking at this, and so there needs to be documents around the work that was done or that your child was doing. If you do this wrong and you get caught, you will probably have to refile your taxes and then pay the taxes on the amount that you paid your child because you paid them the wrong way. You didn't do the work. So yes, it's a strategy, but you have to implement it correctly. So you need to document, or you could lose out on this. So what does that mean? You are going to document the paper trail of how you pay your child. So whether you are paying them by check, you are physically writing them a check, or you're transferring money to them, it has to be to their bank account. You have to be paying them. You can't just be transferring it to yourself and then recording it on the back end like you're paying them. You actually want the paper trail to go to a bank account. So yes, this requires a little bit of setup, but in order to get the tax advantage of this tax strategy, it's worth it to do the back end work. So you're going to set up your kid's own bank account. So when they get paid, there's a paper trail showing this is their bank account, this is their money. Another thing to keep in mind is that you can't do this under an S Corp or a C Corp or a partnership if one of the partners is not a parent to that child. So it can get a little wordy, but easiest way to think of it is each partner has to be the parent of the child. If not, it doesn't work. There is another strategy outside of that you can use. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but if you want more information on it, let me know, and I'll make another video for that. But I just wanted to keep this one kind of brief, give you the basics of what you need to know in action steps on how you can move forward. We're getting this into implementation, making sure you're doing it the right way so you don't have to be nervous about, am I doing it the right way? Am I going to get in trouble? I don't want to cause an audit. Is it worth taking the risk? It's worth doing if you do it correctly. So you need to make sure you set up your child's own bank account. You want to get them on payroll. You are going to issue them their own payment by writing a check or transferring money. They are going to have an established job description. I know some people who even go as far as interviewing their child, having them sign an agreement that they're going to be working from you just so they can check all the boxes if necessary. And then you need to actually document the time and the work that your child did. So if they're cleaning your office, you need to document the time that they did that, how much time is allocated to that task, the description of the job of what that means, just like it would be for a normal job, right? And you need to be sure that you're paying them a normal wage amount that you would pay somebody else to do that task. So as you can see, there's no real big scary rules that are tricky and that you need to navigate or manipulate. It's pretty straightforward, but people get caught up in actually doing the steps to get that set up. I wanted to just briefly go through a list too of ideas if you're looking for ideas of what your kid to do, just to maybe get your brain flowing a little bit. So like I mentioned before, a lot of people have their kids like clean their office. They could be washing the company cars. They could be updating a computer list on your computer, doing any kind of like data entry or transcribing a video or an audio. They can be doing errands if they're old enough to drive, or helping in the office, passing out flyers. They can be updating your social media. So there's a lot of different avenues that you could take for this. As a disclaimer, I always say, always check with your tax professional to make sure you qualify, to make sure you are checking all the right boxes. I'm going to link the IRS website where you can read a little bit more information about this. But if you have any questions, let me know. I would love to answer some questions for you. This is one of my most favorite tax advantages that we have as business owners, because it's a legitimate process that you can carry out and brings the whole family into the business. So I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And as always, cheers to profit.